Two F-16 Vipers streak across the Black Sea at wave-top height. Their radar warning receivers scream as Russian S-400 acquisition radars paint them from Crimea. The lead pilot arms his AGM-88 HARM missiles. In 12 seconds, either the most advanced Russian air defense system dies, or these Ukrainian pilots never make it home. What happens next shocked Russian commanders who believed their S-400 was untouchable. The attack begins 70 nautical miles from target. Both F-16 execute a tactical zoom climb, rocketing from 50 feet to 15,000 in seconds. Their APG-83 AESA radars detect the S-400's 92 N6E Gravestone fire control radar emissions. The system that Russia claims can track stealth aircraft at 400 kilometers just revealed its exact position to aircraft it should have destroyed 10 minutes ago. Here's what Russian crews didn't understand. The F-16 Block 50 these Ukrainian pilots fly isn't the 40-year-old design Moscow expected. These jets carry the Have-Glass V radar-absorbing coating that reduces their radar cross-section by 70%. Combined with terrain masking and electronic warfare pods, they've penetrated deeper into Russian-controlled airspace than any Ukrainian aircraft since February 2022. The S-400 Triumf represents Russia's most capable surface-to-air missile system. Each battery costs $800 million. The 40 N6E missiles reach 400 kilometers, enough to threaten aircraft over Odessa from positions in Crimea. The system supposedly tracks 36 targets simultaneously while engaging 12. On paper, it's invincible. In reality, Ukrainian pilots just found its weakness. The vulnerability starts with physics. The S-400 search radar operates in the S-band frequency, excellent for long-range detection but terrible for precision tracking at low altitude. Sea clutter creates false returns when radar waves bounce off waves. The system compensates by filtering low-altitude returns, creating blind spots Ukrainian mission planners identified months ago. But the real problem is human. Russian operators, confident in their system's superiority, established predictable patterns. They activate their radars at the same times daily. They position batteries in the same locations for weeks. They ignore basic emission control procedures, broadcasting their positions to any aircraft with radar warning receivers. Ukrainian intelligence cataloged every habit. The F-16s carry 4 AGM-88 HARM missiles each, high-speed anti-radiation missiles designed specifically to kill SAM radars. These aren't the original Vietnam-era HARMs. The AGM-88E AARGM variant includes millimeter-wave terminal guidance that remembers target location even after radars shut down. When S-400 operators think they're safe by going dark, the missile still knows where they are. At Mach 2, the HARMs cover the 70-mile distance in 2 minutes. The F-16s don't wait to observe impact. They immediately dive back to the deck, reversing course while dispensing chaff and flares. Their mission computer automatically sequences countermeasures based on threat priority. The pilots focus on flying while the aircraft fights the electronic battle. Inside the S-400 command vehicle, operators see 8 high-speed contacts approaching. Standard procedure: engage with 48 N6E missiles and shut down emissions to avoid anti-radiation missiles. But something's wrong. The contacts keep coming despite radar shutdown. The backup engagement radar activates. More missiles launch. The defensive dance begins. What happens next depends on preparation. Smart S-400 crews relocate immediately after launching. They have 6 minutes before HARM impact, barely enough time to move 300 meters. But these vehicles weigh 50 tons. On Crimean soil soaked by autumn rains, they manage 70 meters. The command post, tracking radar, and 2 launcher vehicles remain dangerously close to their emission points. The first HARM targets the 92 N6E engagement radar. The missile's fragmenting warhead detonates 10 meters above target, showering the radar array with tungsten cubes. The radar dies instantly. Without engagement capability, the battery becomes defensively blind. Launched missiles lose mid-course guidance and self-destruct. 3 more HARMs arrive seconds later. The second HARM eliminates the 96 L6E acquisition radar. The third destroys the command vehicle. The fourth targets a launcher that moved 50 meters, not far enough. In 20 seconds, an $800 million air defense system becomes scrap metal. But the Ukrainian pilots aren't finished. Storm Shadow cruise missiles follow the HARM strikes. These British-supplied weapons fly programmed routes at terrain-hugging altitude. They arrive as S400 crews assess damage. Each Storm Shadow carries a BROACH warhead, Bomb Royal Ordnance Augmented Charge, specifically designed to penetrate hardened targets. The tandem warhead first penetrates armor, then detonates the main charge inside. The missiles target ammunition vehicles containing unfired 40 N6E missiles. Each S400 missile costs $3 million. A battery typically deploys with 32 missiles. That's $96 million in ammunition about to detonate. The Storm Shadow's penetrator punches through vehicle armor. The follow-through charge ignites solid rocket fuel. The explosion registers on seismographs in Turkey. Secondary explosions cascade through the battery position. Rocket motors cook off, sending missiles cartwheeling across the landscape. The blast wave flattens structures 2 kilometers away. Russian state media will claim a cigarette caused the explosion. Satellite imagery will show a crater where the battery stood. This wasn't random luck. Ukrainian planners spent months preparing this strike package. They studied Serbian tactics from 1999 when a clever SAM commander shot down an F-117 stealth fighter. They learned what works against modern SAMs and what doesn't. They waited for perfect conditions, specific weather, known crew rotations, confirmed intelligence. The key insight: S400 relies on network effects. Each battery provides overlapping coverage with adjacent batteries. Destroy one node and gaps appear. Ukrainian planners identified the critical node, a battery positioned to cover both Sevastopol harbor and the Crimean bridge. Without it, follow-on strikes face reduced opposition. F-16 integration changed everything. These aren't Soviet-era MiG-29s with analog systems. The Viper's Link 16 data link shares targeting information between aircraft in real time. The APG-83 radar sees what Russian radars emit before being detected itself. The integrated electronic warfare suite automatically counters known Russian frequencies. It's like playing chess when you can see your opponent's moves in advance. Russian military doctrine assumed technological superiority over Ukraine. The S-400 should have created an impenetrable barrier over occupied territories. Instead, it became a liability. Every active radar broadcasts position. Every missile launch reveals capability. Every predictable pattern enables exploitation. The hunter became hunted. The Pentagon watches closely. American planners assumed attacking modern Russian air defenses required stealth aircraft, F-35s or F-22s. Ukraine just demonstrated that upgraded fourth-generation fighters with proper tactics can neutralize S-400s. This changes Taiwan scenarios. It affects Baltic planning. It rewrites assumptions about conventional deterrence. China takes different lessons. Their HQ-9 system derives from S-300 technology, sharing similar vulnerabilities. They're watching Ukrainian tactics and developing counters. Expect Chinese batteries to move more frequently, emit less predictably, and deploy with better point defense systems. The next evolution in SAM warfare starts now. But here's what really happened next, the part Russia desperately hides. With the critical S-400 battery destroyed, Ukraine launched the real attack. 12 more F-16, previously hidden at dispersed airfields, converged on Crimean targets. They carried different weapons: small-diameter bombs, JDAMs, and Maverick missiles. The targets: ammunition depots, fuel facilities, and command centers previously protected by S-400 coverage. Without long-range SAM coverage, Russian point defense systems faced saturation attacks. Panzer units engaged incoming missiles but ran out of ammunition after 12 intercepts. Tor systems performed better but couldn't handle multiple Axis attacks. The deprecated Buk systems pressed into service lacked modern electronic countermeasures. Ukrainian pilots operated with impunity at medium altitude, something impossible 24 hours earlier. The Sevastopol naval base took 17 hits. The Black Sea Fleet headquarters absorbed 3 JDAM strikes. Fuel tanks burned for a week. Ammunition cook-offs continued for 3 days. Russian commanders requested immediate S400 replacement. Moscow had 2 problems: limited batteries available and fear of losing more. The psychological impact exceeded physical damage. Technical analysis reveals systematic S400 vulnerabilities. The system excels against high-altitude bombers and ballistic missiles. Its design parameters. Against low-level penetrators using terrain masking, it struggles. The radar horizon limits detection range. Processing power insufficient for filtering sea clutter while tracking real targets. The human interface overwhelms operators during saturation attacks. The mobility paradox compounds problems. S400 components need setup time, 2 hours minimum from movement to operational status. During setup, the system can't engage targets, but staying stationary invites harm attacks. Russian crews face impossible choices: remain vulnerable while moving or become predictable while stationary. Ukraine exploits both options. Integration failures multiply vulnerabilities. S400 batteries operate semi-independently, sharing data through vulnerable microwave links. Ukrainian electronic warfare units learn to jam these links, isolating batteries from mutual support. Without network redundancy, each battery fights alone. Overwhelm isolated defenses. The economic impact devastates Russian military planning. Replacing one S400 battery costs more than Ukraine's entire F-16 acquisition program. Russia can't afford massive losses. They must choose between defending critical sites and accepting coverage gaps. Every battery destroyed forces harder decisions. The cost imposition strategy works. This is what happened when F-16s struck Russian S-400s in Crimea. Not just the destruction of an air defense battery, but the shattering of assumptions about modern warfare. Ukraine proved that innovative tactics trump technological superiority. They demonstrated that 40-year-old fighters with modern upgrades can defeat the most advanced SAM systems. They showed that courage and preparation overcome paper capabilities.